Hey y'all, can you hear me? Let me hit one more button here.
Hey, Mom.
What?
Who's the most psychotic person you've ever seen?
You.
Second.
Michael.
Third.
Go.
So Bullhorn Betty isn't first?
I told you didn't need to heat it back up.
What do you mean?
Oh, Jiminies.
It's perfectly fine, Mom. I think you're just going psycho.
Hey, y'all. I'm late. I know. Let's go ahead and just jump right on into Brian in here.
Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out my show. I really appreciate it. Please click to subscribe here outside Nancy Guthrie's house. It's now day 22, which is hard to believe. It is Sunday. A couple of interesting developments for you today. First of all, I just interviewed the lawyer for Carlos. You guys remember Carlos
Give me a
was
like,
the man who...
subscribe and a share. Hello, Spin. How are you today, sir? I was told IRL was supposed to be down in Tucson this weekend, and so was BCP.
Was detained. It's been a couple of weeks now in Rio Rico near the Mexico border when there was that SWAT raid at his house and the search warrant, and it was believed that he may be connected to the Nancy Guthrie case. And that didn't pan out. But I now got like all the details on what actually went down. I mean, he was kept in a car handcuffed for 6 to 7 hours, questioned extensively. A lot that I didn't know, I'm now learning about what went on behind the scenes and what they may have thought was connecting him back to the Nancy Guthrie case. So I'm going to have the full interview with his lawyer coming up in this episode, which was really interesting. Also, the volunteer search groups have been out today, and it's emotional. I mean, some of them, one woman got emotional talking to us, saying that she feels a connection to Nancy Guthrie, thinks of her own mom, and the terrain is rough out here. It's hot today. They were searching in tunnels, they were searching in canyons, and they actually found a backpack which didn't seem to fit the description of the suspect's backpack, but still the sheriff's office came out and got it. So I talked to some of them. You're going to hear from them in this episode. I'm going to take you along on some of their searches. I didn't realize there's like these tunnels, these drainage tunnels out here, which we went into, which I'll show you. And then I'll have the latest update with the Pima County Sheriff's Office. The sheriff did an interview, and apparently there are some challenges, that's what they're calling them, with testing the DNA at the private lab in Florida. Not good news. He said it could take weeks, a month, and then he even said a year, which was sort of unsettling to hear Sheriff Nanos say that. So I'm going to get into all the latest details, day 22 in Arizona, this episode of Brian Enton Investigates. All right, hey guys, so there's kind of a lot to get to in this episode with the latest developments in the Nancy Guthrie disappearance. First of all, there were no formal updates from the Pima County Sheriff this weekend, but he did do an interview with NBC News. And I'm always kind of particularly interested when he talks to NBC because, of course, NBC is where Savannah Guthrie works. So I have kind of gotten the sense that they've gotten, not special treatment, but it seems like they're getting more one-on-one interviews. So anyway, he did an interview with NBC News, and he spoke specifically about the DNA. He said a couple of things with the DNA, but he said that I wrote some of that down on what somebody said. Some of what he said. He said the lab says there are challenges with the DNA, and remember the lab that the sheriff's office here is using is a lab in Florida. There was some drama with the FBI initially because the FBI wanted to send certain items to Quantico. The sheriff decided to send everything to this lab in Florida because he said it was just better to have everything in one place, and this is the lab that they have a contract with and that they're used to using. And now he's saying that the lab says that there are challenges with the DNA. And what he said is some of it will resolve itself in a matter of weeks, months, or maybe a year, which I found to be kind of discouraging that he was said maybe a year or even months. But apparently I've also heard him use the word snags with the DNA. And he said that the DNA samples are mixed. That's the word he used, mixed, that they contain DNA from more than one person, and that is the reason that they are having these challenges. But again, when he said that it could maybe take a year, that just didn't sound good. Hopefully that's not actually the case. I texted Cece Moore, who is a DNA expert who I know, who I've interviewed on my show before, just to see what she thought. I said, hey, Cece, I'm not sure if you saw, but the sheriff did an interview and said there are challenges with the DNA. He said some of it will resolve itself in a matter of weeks, months, or maybe a year. The DNA samples are mixed. Do you think this is a big issue? And she wrote me back. I just texted her. She said, yes, it could be. If it was a straightforward mixture, it would not delay things much at all. So it sounds like it may not be a straightforward mixture. So that's not good news. I remember there's DNA that was found inside Nancy Guthrie's house, which I've always thought seemed like one of the most promising pieces of evidence because they said it's DNA that didn't connect back to Nancy Guthrie or anyone in her immediate circle. So now they're trying the genetic genealogy, which is where they try to test it, which apparently they're having issues, but they try to test the DNA in these genealogy databases to see if they can connect it back to anyone close to the suspect. So we'll see how that pans out. But again, that didn't sound like good news there, that they're having issues. He also said that there are no names that they're looking into right now, no specific names, no suspect names, which is a little contrary to some of my...
I agree with you, Arctic. There's a lot more annoying ones out there in this thing, let me tell you.
reporting because you guys remember we went to the gun shops and they told us that they had a list, that the FBI showed up with a list of 40 names and 40 photos and was showing gun shop employees and the owner the 40 names and the 40 photos to see if any of those people had been inside the gun shop or bought a gun or if they saw them at all. So I know they had some kind of list, but the sheriff is now saying that there are no names that they're looking into. He said in terms of leads, I think that it is still growing. I think we are getting closer to identifying some of the items on top of the backpack, maybe the shoes, pants, shirt, jacket. Remember, the backpack is the only item in the suspect photos from Nancy's front door Google Nest camera. The backpack is the only item that they were able to fully identify and say for sure that the suspect bought at Walmart. And we know that FBI agents were working with Walmart to try and figure out who's bought a backpack like that in, you know, the recent time frame. And they can actually go back through sales.
I just realized you guys can't see all of it. Give me a second. Un memento. maybe. Or would that be better? Oh, let's just do that.
Records and search back that way.
Ah, dang it. It's probably one of those Dolly Vision freaks over here trying to cause drama.
So he says that now they are getting closer to identifying also the shoes, pants, shirt, and jacket, which would be big too, because then they could go into sales databases and also try to find where those items were purchased. And those may not have been purchased at Walmart, I'm told. The sheriff has actually said that. The backpack, they know came from Walmart. The other items, they believe, were also sold at other retailers too, so it may take them more time to get to all of that. Also, and I'm going to get to, I really want to get to my interview with Carlos's lawyer here in a second, the guy who was detained in Rio Rico. But first, let me tell you about this volunteer search group that was out and about. So they all met up this morning early, 8 a.m., and they've been searching the area around Nancy Guthrie's home. The terrain is rough here. I mean, I don't know if I've sort of explained that enough, but there's a ton of cactuses. It's hot today. If you're in the shade like I am right now, it doesn't feel too bad, but right when you get in the sun today, it's hot. You get a sunburn really easily. And there's just a lot of like ravines and crevices and holes, and it's rough out here. So the search party, the volunteer search party met up and they started searching. We followed them. They went through tunnels. There's these drainage tunnels that they went through. They went all over the area. It was impressive. And at one point they found a backpack, which a lot of people were tweeting about. The backpack did not match the backpack that the suspect had in the photo, but nonetheless, they still called the sheriff's office. They knew not to touch anything. They were sort of like holding a stick to carry the backpack. And the sheriff's office came out and took the backpack. So we'll see if that pans out into anything. Keep in mind, there are a lot of homeless people in some of these areas, especially down in the tunnels. So some of these items probably belong to homeless people. I've kind of thought that all along. I thought the same thing with a lot of the black gloves that have been found. I just haven't put a lot of weight into a lot of that. But you never know. And every little bit helps. And one of the women that we
I don't know if they actually asked for permission or not. Unlike the women from Mexico who come up to volunteer to look for her, I don't know if they asked for permission, Arctic.
spoke to, who was searching, talked about how she just felt this connection to Nancy Guthrie because, Nancy was around the same age as her.
Oh, we will be getting to that, Ball. We will get to that. I know all about what's going on down in Mexico. Yeah. Well, I guess if you're a meth addict or a few other addicts out there, you might have a bloody glove. And with how it's dominated for 3 weeks is because it's the fact that it technically it's a famous person's mama. And anything the news can grab, they do and they run with it. If you're new to true crime, that's the biggest problem. Is if it, I'm trying to think. Let me look at something really, really quick. I'm going to go ahead and hit play and mute myself and hit play, but I have something I need to look at.
Mom, and I've heard that from a lot of people, and I felt that myself. I mean, some people think that this case has only been so, popular, I guess is the right word, or just people are so interested in this case because of Savannah Guthrie and the celebrity element. But I think it's also maybe equally because people relate to Nancy Guthrie. She just seems like everybody's mom or grandma. And, you know, for those of us with parents who are getting older, you're always kind of worried about them and worried about people coming in the house and helpers, and just, you know, you start to worry more. And for me, I think that's why I felt connected to this case. And I think that's why a lot of other people felt connected, including this one volunteer searcher who we met today. Take a look at this.
My mother died many years ago, and she would be around Nancy's age now. And if this was her, I would want people to do what they could to help me find my mom. You know what? I don't know. We can't change the past. We can only do what we can today. So the minute I heard that something had been organized, I was going to show up. So here we are. I didn't know him 3 hours ago, but we've teamed up on this. So, and I mean, I've spent majority of my life in Tucson, and you don't realize how vast it is in terms of not only distance, but the terrain. Like, something can look flat, and it's got this slight little incline. So it's not only distance, but elevation and all of the things.
So I've been away from home for a while for work, and one of the things I miss so much are my Factor meals. They make it so much easier to eat better, and Factor is a sponsor of today's video. Factor shrimp, the salmon, those are all my favorites. They're in qualifying, auto-renewing subscription for scams, for stalking, for harassment, and months. And the truth is, we're all at risk. In qualifying, auto-renewing subscription purchase, make healthier eating easy with Factor. All right, guys, I want to introduce you to the sponsor of today's episode, Incogni. Identity theft, it is such a big activities, and that is where Incogni website, and you spot your personal info. You literally just put it into Incogni's custom removal feature, and one of Incogni's private. I think that's partly because the sheriff has sort of emphasized from the beginning that, you know, this was a crime, and that, you know, we haven't seen big searches. I mean, it's just not something that we've seen as part of this investigation. Other cases I've covered, you know, you'll see big grid searches that happen. You'll see helicopters up every single day. You'll see dogs constantly. We just haven't seen that in this case, which makes me wonder what they know behind the scenes that they're not telling us. You know, why haven't they had big search parties? And even with this volunteer search group, they almost in a sense discouraged it. The sheriff's office put out a statement saying, you know, not to interfere with law enforcement, that you need permits to search in certain areas. They warned people about going on private property, which is all fair, you know, but it's just made me wonder. The sheriff hasn't emphasized the need to search in a long time, which just makes me wonder what they may know behind the scenes. They may know nothing, but anyway, we'll see if these volunteer searchers come back out again, but they seem to cover, you know, a lot of ground considering there weren't a ton of them today. Okay, let me get to Carlos now. You guys remember I raced out to Rio Rico. It's been a couple of weeks now when there was the first SWAT raid. You know, there's been two. There was the one, gosh, I'm losing track of my days, but the one that was just 2 miles from here. That was the more recent one, which we still don't know all the details of. We know there were no arrests in that one, but the first one was in Rio Rico, which was that town right near the border where FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Office and the SWAT team, they were all out there. They pulled a man over named Carlos, who was with his wife and child, and they detained him. And I'm learning more details now. They detained him for 7 hours, 6 to 7 hours, his lawyer is telling me, while they interrogated him. And they seemed to have some information that they thought was connecting him back to the Nancy Guthrie case. Turns out it doesn't seem he was connected to the case. So I had a lot of questions about why Carlos? Why did they, you know, they had a search warrant, they busted inside his house. They still have his phone, I learned. So I got some new information from his lawyer. He's now got a lawyer because wants his name cleared, which still hasn't officially been cleared. But I spoke with his lawyer. I wanted you guys to hear this conversation. So you represent Carlos?
Correct. And I also represent his in-laws, his family.
Okay. Yeah, we met them when we were out there the night of the you know, the bust, I guess you could call it,
Yeah.
or the raid. So first of all, how is he doing? I mean, I've seen him do some interviews. He's maintained that he has nothing to do with anything to do with Nancy Guthrie, right?
Oh, he's an innocent man. He's absolutely an innocent man. It's really clear to me that he had nothing to do with it, and this was, you know, some kind of mistake. And we'll have to get to the bottom of what the mistake was. who jumped the gun and why. But right now, Carlos, I think he's doing a little bit better. I think he's been able to see some of the response to his interview last week. And, but it's been very hard on the family. It's been very hard on him. And, to be thrown into the limelight, to have this kind of shadow cast on him, implying that he's somehow involved in the most notorious crime that anyone can think about right now. So
How did it go down? Because when we got there, they had his road closed off where he lives, and we heard it was a traffic stop down the street, but did they just pull him over? I don't know if you can share some detail on how it actually happened.
so my understanding is that Carlos noticed that he was being followed by a marked police vehicle from Marana, which is a community north of Tucson. And that he was driving back to the family house, sees this marked vehicle following him, and he stops to try to talk to them and find out, why are you following me? What's going on? When he does that, multiple police officers jump out, pointing guns, demanding that everybody get out of the vehicle. And from that point forward, they have Carlos arrested. They have him in the back of a Marana car, and then later a Pima County Sheriff's Office car. And then they conduct a raid on the family house.
Was he handcuffed?
Yes.
Okay. And did they say why initially?
No.
So he goes in the back of the car, and then what happened to him next?
So he was held in the back of that car for somewhere between 5 and 7 hours. And I should say in the back of two different cars. He was first in a Marana car and then moved to a Pima County Sheriff's Office car. And all of those law enforcement agencies in Southern Arizona, they work together often. They have various. Sorry, my ring light just fell. They have various task force that they operate cooperatively, so it can sometimes be hard to tell who's running the show. But he spent a total of somewhere between 5 and 7 hours in the back of police vehicles, fully handcuffed, separated from his family, and being questioned by Pima County personnel and most likely the FBI.
So they questioned him while he was in the car still.
Correct.
Okay. And then was he just let go after 7 hours in the car?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay.
The other thing I was going to say is they also questioned his family. They questioned his wife. They questioned his mother-in-law, and they arrested and detained, other members of his family.
So while he's in the car, what happened at the house?
What happened at the house is they did a forced entry into the house, breaking doors, terrifying the occupants, terrifying Carlos's family, and damaging property.
Did they take anything?
Our understanding is that the only item that they took is Carlos's telephone, his cell phone.
And was he able to get that back?
No, not yet. We've contacted Pima County Sheriff's Office and requested it. We've also contacted the FBI and requested that it be returned. Obviously, we've also put in records requests and evidence preservation letters.
Do you know if it was because the second raid that we went to, the one closer to Nancy's house, was they confirmed was a federal search warrant. Was this also a federal search warrant? Do you know?
It was signed by a state judge. Now, that doesn't mean that when you say federal search warrant, what I interpret that to mean is what kind of judge issued it.
Right.
This one was issued by a state court.
Hey, y'all, I see there's 47 of you. Sorry, 52 of you, 40 in here. Welcome in. Come in, sit down, have a seat. I don't bite. Put your opinions in the chat. And if you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button for me. Thank you. And share me out to your friends.
Judge, and it was directed to state law enforcement actors. That doesn't mean that federal agents were not involved in the affidavit that's used to get the search warrant. But the problem we have right now is we don't have the affidavit. And to kind of explain what that is, a search warrant is an order from a judge saying there's probable cause for a search and, describing what person, places, things can be searched. Under the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution, in order to get a search warrant, you need to put forward probable cause to a neutral magistrate and have that magistrate issue it. And that requires presenting some sort of evidence. The search warrant affidavit for this search warrant was issued by the Pima County Superior Court, and it is sealed. We sent an investigator to go and get it, and we're told that it was sealed. So one of our next steps will be to try to get that search warrant unsealed so that we can see what the purported basis for any of this was.
Do you have any idea? I mean, based on what they were asking Carlos, have you been able to sort of piece together why they thought he was involved?
I don't think they had any reason to think he was involved. My belief is that it's most like this is his arrest, his unlawful detention, the search of his residence, his property, the seizure of his property, probably all goes to some electronic evidence that's really dubious. Something like cell phone pings, something like flock cameras. He's a delivery driver. I don't know that he was ever even in that area. And I think it's widely known by law enforcement that things like cell phone pings are incredibly inaccurate. They're very dependent on a lot of factors. And so I suspect that it's probably some combination of that and possibly some other sort of bizarre government triangulation, maybe using some kind of, surveillance database type software like Palantir, something like that.
What
But
is
we'll
that?
find out.
What's that? I've never heard of that.
So Palantir is a software suite that's sold to the government that they use to cross-reference their own databases. So it's like intelligence gathering software. The military uses it. The FBI uses it. A lot of police agencies use it. And
Hey, y'all. Welcome in from Rumble. Not trying to ignore you guys over there.
it allows them to try to triangulate things. So they might be, I'm way out on a limb speculating right now, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if, they had some dubious cell phone ping, some really vague description of a vehicle, like a silver vehicle, and then they just cross-referenced it with Hispanic.
Okay, Arctic. You know how you tell me to quit racially profiling people? And you know what happened to me this past week. I showed one person a picture of my ex, and not only did they say he looked mean, they also made the comment he looked like the kidnapper. Well, hate to break it to you, it's not him. That means he would actually have to take time to do something. If you haven't already hit that like button, go right ahead and do that for me, please. And thank you. I'm going to go ahead and hit play. Now, like I said last night, if Icamel was smaller with the arms, I would swear up and down it could even be Icamel. I like Icamel. Death told me the other day, you just described me. And I'm like, maybe. If you like what you're seeing over here, go ahead and hit that love like button and go ahead and sub up.
People who lived in Tucson. Or something like that. The other possibility is, some kind of tip, confidential informant type of thing, but, I don't see what that would be.
Right. When we met Josefina out there, his, I guess, mother-in-law, she was saying how he was a delivery driver. And I was wondering if maybe he delivered something on that street. And maybe like they just went back and looked at all the cell phones that were in that area and then looked at the pictures and who might have had similar eyebrows, something like that, you know?
That certainly crossed my mind, but I don't know that he was ever even on that street, so I don't know. It's very strange to me to see just the kind of the circus the police created, where they clearly cast a shadow on his reputation and, through their actions, identifying him as a quote unquote person of interest, have really ruined his life right now, where he's having trouble maintaining employment. He was notified by his employer not to identify himself as being related to that.
I said it was pointed out to me with night vision, things that are dark will look light, and things that are light will look dark. So keep that in mind, people. It could be a blonde hair, blue. This guy right here with the no hair on top could technically be the guy we're looking for.
Employer, he's not getting work. And when he and his family go out into the community, and Rio Rico and Nogales are very small towns in Arizona, they feel like everybody's watching them, and people are. People are coming up to them. People are making statements to them. And, Carlos's children are afraid to go to school because of this.
Yeah. And then there was the second raid at the other house where there was no arrest there either.
Yeah.
So we don't know if that's going to be a similar situation as Carlos, or I don't know if they're still investigating. It's kind of hard to sort out.
Well, I do know that with respect to the second raid, an attorney in Tucson named Christopher Shalepi has said that he represents that person as well as that person's mother, and that they're innocent. They had nothing to do with this. But again, you get met with this deafening silence from the sheriff's office and the sheriff, who seem to be quite comfortable going out and placing suspicion on people, but have no interest in clearing them after that happens.
What does Carlos want now? I mean, he's obviously retained you. Is he want to sue, or sort of what's the next step?
So the first step is for Sheriff Nanos to come forward and admit that they messed up, that Carlos is innocent. They have no reason to believe that he has any connection to this or any other incident. That's step one. And every day that goes by where Sheriff Nanos doesn't do that, it makes it worse for Carlos. The next steps after that are going to be an investigation that we will conduct to figure out exactly what the Pima County Sheriff's Office did and did wrong that led to that false arrest, false detention, and that illegal search. And then once we've completed that, our next step would be litigation if warranted.
I guess I always thought, and from other stories and cases I've covered, that when they do a search warrant where they bust inside and go through everything, that there's like real legitimate evidence
One
to be able
hopes
to do that.
There should be. That's what we hope. But, again, this is a secret affidavit, and that's not particularly unusual. They often do secret probable cause affidavits. But what we do know is they searched the residence of an innocent man. And what we know about him leads us to believe that there's no way they could have possibly had a reason to actually believe he had anything to do with this case. And so, you know, we all, I think, want to trust our government. We all want to trust the police officers who are, you know, out there working to protect the community. But what we've seen again and again in high-profile cases like this is that police will get frustrated with their inability to solve a crime, and they will end up making mistakes, leaping to judgment, or rushing to judgment, and innocent people, innocent families get caught in the crossfire. You know, and so we have examples like Stephen Hatfill in the anthrax letter case, who was falsely accused by the FBI, and Richard Jewell, the Atlanta Olympic bombing, falsely accused by the FBI, whose life was ruined. And so, you know, when you have a high-profile investigation like this, and they don't have good leads, what I think happens is pressure comes from above, like, hey, we got to move, we got to do something, we got to make an arrest, we got to show the community we're working on this. And when that pressure happens, we know mistakes get made.
And just to go back for 1 second, just in conclusion, when he was in the police car for 7 hours or a couple of cars and they were asking him questions, was it like a real interrogation, or do you think they realized pretty quickly that he wasn't involved? Like, do you know anything about what they were asking him?
You know, my understanding is they were basically asking him questions about his whereabouts at various times. You know, I don't. What one of the things that we anticipate getting is any video or recordings of that interview. And, you know, that might give us more information once we have that. We do think it's going to be difficult to get it. And so it may be some time before we know the details of that.
Yeah, with the FBI involved. And I just know from the work I do, it can be very difficult getting those records once the feds are involved.
When they handcuffed him, placed him in the back of that car, made clear.
Yes, Miss Terry, I agree. It will be great when she gets to come home. But at this point and at this rate, I don't want to know what her fate is. My mom's 86. If someone was to kidnap my mother, I would lose my shit.
He was not free to leave and held him for 5 to 7 hours in that fashion. I think it's just undisputable that that constitutes an arrest under the United States Constitution. My understanding is that at some point he was read his rights, but my understanding is that that was later on. It's also my understanding that he asked for an attorney and was not provided with one. So, you know, I hope that answers the question. It can sometimes be hard to make the distinction between what constitutes a detention and what constitutes an arrest. But you know, usually if it's a matter, almost always if it's a matter of hours, that's going to end up being an arrest. And so my understanding is the only thing that hasn't been returned is Carlos's phone, of the things that were taken. You know, what happened is, you know, Carlos was living with his in-laws, and that is where they executed the search warrant. And the rest of the family was caught in the crossfire of what we view as an illegal detention and an illegal search. And, you know, in those moments that evening and early into the morning, you can see the terror in her face, that she's been isolated from her family, that she's unable to figure out what's going on, and that police have entered her house and essentially kicked her out of it. I mean, I just think Americans of all political stripes should be horrified by this because it is an abuse of government power. And for it to happen and then the government to remain silent, Sheriff Nanos to remain silent about its effects, when he could easily come forward and say, hey, we had information. We realized that information was bad. We realized that Carlos had no involvement in this. And that's really what we would expect a responsible leader in our community, a responsible sheriff to come forward and say.
So that was Attorney Jesse Showalter, who is representing Carlos. I'll stay in touch with him. You guys remember I interviewed his mother-in-law when the raid happened, and I was out there, and she was so convinced that he wasn't involved from the very beginning. And they had taken her cell phone too. And, I actually kind of believed her then, but I just thought to myself, well, there's probably a lot I don't know. I had just shown up out there, but she was convinced. She said he doesn't know Nancy Guthrie. He wasn't in Tucson the night she went missing. And it turns out, it seems she was right that he was not involved based on everything that we've heard. So I'll continue to dig into that. You heard the lawyer, Jesse, explain that they're trying to get the search warrant. I've also been trying to get the search warrant. A lot of that stuff is sealed. But once we can get those documents, it'll tell us exactly what authorities had to justify doing that search warrant, because the judge had to sign off on it. So sealed for now, but eventually, hopefully, it'll be unsealed, especially as they really move on onto different leads. Let me go through also. This was the latest update that we got from the Pima County Sheriff's Office. In terms of neighborhood activity, they say detectives and agents are back today in the Guthrie neighborhood canvassing as part of the investigation, and that no additional details will be provided, but we know they were out here yesterday. I told you guys how they've changed the traffic pattern on Nancy Street. They put a bunch of cones out and closed off one of the lanes. They say detectives and agents have collected multiple gloves from the area, and analysis is part of the investigation. Specific details about these pieces of evidence will not be shared publicly. It remains an active investigation. They're saying that there have been no changes to resources in the investigation. There was one report, I think it was from ABC, that said that, they may start to peel back resources as time goes on. And the sheriff is saying there have been no changes in resources. There may be fluctuations day to day based on investigative leads. Several hundred law enforcement personnel remain dedicated to the case. This will remain an active investigation until Nancy Guthrie is found or all leads are exhausted. DNA, they gave us an update, but really the latest update is what I told you at the beginning of this episode from the sheriff, that they're having challenges with the DNA, which isn't good news. There was some reporting about a helicopter over a landfill, and I was actually tracking it on one of the helicopter tracking apps, and you could see it doing a grid search over a landfill just about like 20 minutes from here. We went out to the landfill and were told there that, they didn't think it had anything to do with the Nancy Guthrie investigation. And now the sheriff's office confirmed the private aerial activity near a landfill was not related to the investigation. And then I already told you what they said about private search parties, basically saying that they appreciate the concern, but that this work is best left to the professionals, which really rubbed some people the wrong way, honestly. Some of the volunteer searchers, but also just some people in the community were like, why are they discouraging people from searching? The more, the better. So that was kind of an interesting statement that they made. So that's really the latest. Again, it's day 22. It's Sunday. I'm going to stay out here and just continue to investigate. I got a couple of things set up that I'm going to look into tomorrow. I appreciate all of you guys for following along. I appreciate all of your emails and direct.
Oh, see, mine's 86. We don't live. Well, I used to live in Tucson. Don't live there now. I'm back in Oklahoma. That's why my southern accent's coming back, which is driving me also insane. Okay. I understand what you're saying. But you realize that there's 100 in here. So obviously what's going on is very interesting. But I also agree that, yes, the professionals suck at their jobs. You are so right. But I also agree that this has become a waste of the Tucson taxpayers' money. Unfortunately, the sheriff is a waste of their money. If they had a decent sheriff, this wouldn't be going on for as long as it did. Let's see here. So the most interesting thing that's happened today was during the search, they found a backpack. I'm not saying this her or the kidnappers. I don't know at this point how I feel about that. Um, I'm trying to find something else to put on. Give me 1 second. Probably no one that's live right now would be good. Is Icky still alive or not? You guys know about this going on, right? You can just talk latest news and stuff, what's going on. I'm not going to watch this whole thing over again. Hate to tell you guys
Welcome back to the live. Chaos in Mexico, man. I had to put on a button-up striped shirt for the occasion. For the occasion. Now, I've just been informed that Mexican security forces. I'm not muted, am I? Let me just make sure. Waste my time talking over here. Okay, perfect. Face, no voice. It says through Central Military Intelligence efforts alongside the Mexican National Intelligence Center. I didn't even know.
chat here, you guys. I'm sorry. Let me go. I find a new story. So I got their job, and I answered that. Brian needs to find a different career. Brian kind of pissed me off. I'll just put it that way. About Friday the 13th. You know, he got that tip, and he wouldn't give anyone any information on it. Period. But I kept telling Dolly and JLR, go back towards Nancy's. Straightforward. Go back towards her house. The one that was in someone's driveway at 3. Oh, well, have you not seen the fact that I'm answering this one? I don't know if you guys can see it or if it's hidden underneath the other messages. But the question is the one that was seen. The one in. Okay, hang on. Give me a minute. Backtrack. The one that was in someone's driveway at 3:04 a.m. Saturday morning. Yeah. Did you not see the video of one of the neighbors put out? And I guess I could go find that real quick. If you guys are still interested in Nancy Guthrie, or we can move on to this lovely little live that Ikamel put together, and I'm too lazy to go find all the information for her. I'll be honest. But Mexico's underneath attack from the cartel. It's not pretty down there. I shocked me saying that. Spin H telling me, drop the link. yeah, things have went sideways and went off the rails big time here as of late, everywhere. I'm sorry about the dripping and noise in the background. The last person that used the sink did not shut it off. But yeah, this case has me scratching my head and asking questions. It really does, because there's a lot going on in it that I don't understand. But even with Simon Wells's case, there are things that have been said that cannot be repeated. There are things that have been assigned for certain cops, I guess, that cannot be repeated due to the fact it was told to me the other day, and I knew that. The cops don't have to tell us everything going on, but at least put out some of these other videos, because guess what? Some of these other videos might help some of us armchair detectives figure this case out. I mean, they're pissed because you got JLR down there and Dad and so many others down there doing this case and following it, who are just YouTubers. And then you have your mainstream media bitching about true crime YouTubers. Well, guess what? There was another sheriff that came out and made the remark that some of us true crime YouTubers might be the ones who put this case together versus law enforcement themselves. Look at Gabby Petito's. Gabby was found due to the fact, and I don't even think they were armchair detectives. They were just, I would almost say gypsies, but they were travelers, and they used their van and they traveled around the world or the United States with their kids. And they found her. They found her van and Brian's van at the same area they camped at. So guess what? If we all put our heads together, because we are actually smarter than the average bear out there, I guarantee you some of us might be able to come up with what happened to Nancy. I mean, I've seen what, who was it? Because I went over it with Arctic the other day. SF Investigates has put out on X about this case. You guys realize there was a flight that left. Let me go pull it so that way I don't quote myself wrong. I mean, that's just like when someone asked me earlier how I felt about Molly and Colt's case. Well, you know what? If it's them, great. You know, if the two that were found were them, great. If not, I want to know how old the bones are at this point. A day ago, does anyone know if he was found? Huh. He's been missing since February 10th. So probably not. In a minute, I'll go to X over here and show you guys. Okay, there's some more stuff since the other day. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to X here. We'll go ahead and lower Icamel. We can remove him from the screen for right this second. Oh, I don't know how to do that over here. Just hide you for a minute. We don't need you up there. We will try that there. If not, we can always change it. Sorry about going on my tangent, guys. I just... prefer if there's information to put it out. Where are we at here? Here we go. I'm sure the FBI has already looked into this, but it's worth nothing that Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker lost Bluetooth connection at 2:28 a.m. on February 1st. About 2 hours later, at 4:45 a.m., a small private jet departed Tucson for Parvara, Mexico. That's a very early departure on a Sunday morning. Okay, so we got that, right? I said, he sure is nothing. And I think I just exited out the whole thing. Good job, Taylor. And this is all on SF. Steve Fisher SF Investigates website or his ex. Wow, used to be Twitter, now it's X. And I showed Arctic Fox this the other day, if I can find it again. What was that? Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Please hit that love like button if you haven't already and sub up. I try to be fun over here. I try to give people laughs, even whenever it's a hard time to do so. Then we got this, which I find very interesting. Which right this second, I cannot see chat, y'all. And there is no sound, so. Hole. A hole in the glove. That was the first hole that was noticed. There's been another hole in the glove noticed due to a pinky ring finger. And I keep doing that. I am so sorry. I feel guilty and bad. What in the... Well, I'm not messing with anything. What am I doing? Here we go. Give me 1 second, guys. I got to get it so I can see it. I got to pull it back up. I was reviewing data on what cell train service terms and locations there were running in Google, the search terms ransom in the Tucson area showed no activity over a 30-day period until January 31st, when when 4 searches were recorded. When breaking out the location data within the Tucson area, it appears all 4 searches from the same possibly from the same person, were ran in Green Valley, which is south of Tucson. Then, of course, there is a spike in the search term after the news breaks for Nancy Guthrie. Many have been kidnapped for ransom. I'm not going to use this. I'm not going to express using, or I'm not going to. I'm not an expert using this tool, and I believe it is a newer analyzing tool from Google. So I'm not saying that it's basically is correct that I am okay. Anyway, so he found data showing, and there's been others that's found the same data. I get nervous trying to read in front of people. I am sorry, guys. I'm trying to get over that too. January 31st, 2006, there was a spike for the word ransom. That's kind of interesting if you ask me. Which I know no one asked me, so I should keep my 2 cents out of it. And that was found Friday the 13th. There was someone else I was wanting to show you guys. Give me a second. Let me find it. But Sorry, y'all. My child also came in. I was going to read something, but you probably already read it. This is a screen recording of live cam showing the border crossing at 1:45 a.m. into Nogales. It is completely dead. Crossing into Mexico is not like crossing back into the U.S. You do not go through a checkpoint like you do with USCBP. One vehicle out of 25 might get flagged going into Mexico. It's very easy getting someone across the border. Being across the border gives the bad guys more added protection. And if they were to release Nancy Guthrie, releasing her at a bus stop in Mexico is much safer for the kidnappers than releasing her in the U.S., not considering Mexico as a real possibility. Not considering Mexico as a real possibility would be a foolish opinion. That's what he's saying. So let's watch this real quick. Sorry about that, y'all. I'll hit play again. This is kind of boring. Kind of like watching paint dry. Hey, Ari, come on, I found me a job. Oh, here comes a bus. Oh, they don't go stop either. Oh, we're coming back in, I guess, to the U.S. Pick a lane. I'm guessing this is the border crossing somewhere in this video. So, And thank all of you for the thumbs ups and the love in the chat. If you haven't already subbed up, go ahead and sub up. See, what has Brian Anton got going on over here on X? Oh, this thing. This. Back it up. Hold up. We'll back it up. So we. And I'll mute myself.
My mother died many years ago, and she would be around Nancy's age now. And if this was her, I would want people to do what they could to help me find my mom.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that's all I really wanted to go over with the Nancy Guthrie thing today. They found a backpack. News reporters were all over the place afterwards. And then we have this going on down there. Give me a second. We'll just make a mail here for a minute.
And the Attorney General's office, FEMDO, Special Forces of the Mexican Army, planned and executed an operation in Tapalapa, Jalisco. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing this stuff. Tapalapa, Jalisco. Various aircraft from the Mexican Air Force and the Special Immediate Reaction Force of the Mexican National Guard participated in this operation to achieve an arrest of Ruben N. alias. So they're showing commercials. We don't want that. We don't want commercials playing because I don't know. Oh, let me see. Oh, this is let me get my other browser. They're all in sync, I guess, playing commercials at the same time. Oh, 1 second. Let me keep reading about this operation. So during this operation, Mexican military personnel were attacked, and in defense of their physical integrity, they repelled the aggression. This resulted in 4 members of the CJNG criminal group dying at the scene and 3 others being severely wounded, who lost their lives during their airlift to Mexico City. Among the latter is Ruben N., alias Mencho. That's the guy. That's the big guy that was killed. That they're pissed off now. However, the corresponding authorities will be in charge of the forensic activities to confirm his identification. So they got to make sure this is even him. Is it a body double? In addition, 2 other members of the criminal organization were arrested, and various weapons and armored vehicles were seized, including rocket launchers capable of shooting down aircraft and destroy armored vehicles. Unfortunately, during this military operation, 3 members of the institution were wounded and likewise transferred to medical facilities in Mexico City for emergency medical care. In addition to Central Military Intelligence efforts, complementary information was provided by U.S. authorities within the framework of bilateral coordination and cooperation with the United States. So it was a kind of joint operation. I mean, had some help. Well, it said in addition to Central Military Intelligence. So there was some type of help, I guess, some type of together collaboration. At this time, elements of Mexican National Guard and Mexican Army troops from the center of the country and states neighboring Jalisco are mobilizing to reinforce the security of the state. With these actions, I guess he misspelled it. Secretary of National Defense reaffirms its commitment to contributing to strengthening Mexico's security. Oh shit, so they're flexing. This was intentional. It was an operation to take him out.
Pedro Tlaquepaque, Tlajomulco de Zúñiga, Tonalá, El Salto y otros municipios al interior del estado como Acatlán de Juárez, Ameca, Autlán de Navarro, Atotonilco, El Alto, Chapala, Cihuatlán, Ciudad Guzmán, Huejúcar, La.
So they're saying that supposedly they're rounding up some security. They're not just going to let these people, I guess, take over, even though it seems like right now they've taken over. This is going to be probably crazy today.
Velasco, que nos tiene la siguiente información. Priscila, ¿cómo estás? Buenas tardes, te saludamos.
Ahora nos encontramos sobre la Avenida República, el cruce con la calle Mariano Jiménez, donde también hay
What, Terry? I missed the comment. One of these days. Find out what? What happened to Nancy? Yeah, we will. You're right. Right now, we have nothing. We have absolutely nothing. Nothing is going on at the house. We have volunteer searchers out there who didn't even ask for permission because the other day, the mothers out of Mexico asked and they told them no. They told one search party that were volunteers no. So now you have others out there searching who didn't even ask because you asked, they're going to tell you no. And then there's also a Karen out there today who yelled at the searchers, JLR being one of them, and told them that they needed to get out of her community and quit filming her. Well, they were filming each other talking. The camera was never turned on her until she come up acting like a mad woman.
Right now.
Policial, luego de
Police.
un ataque a elementos de la policía del estado, y es que este se derivó luego del reporte de 2 vehículos robados. Son estos que nos
stolen vehicles.
Está buscando mi compañero Cristian Armas, esta camioneta blanca y una en color azul que
white truck and a blue truck.
Fueron robados sobre el cruce de la avenida Javier Mina y Abascal. Ahí se hace el reporte del robo de estos dos vehículos, por lo que los elementos motorizados de la policía del estado.
Okay, so these vehicles were robbed. I'm gonna see. There's a bunch of like Spanish channels right now live, and some of them are kind of showing some interesting clips and stuff. So we might kind of rotate a little bit. And I'm also gonna try to see if we can get some of these some of these TikToks that were live. If it's interesting. There was one that I saw, but it didn't really have much going on. One of the TikToks. This is big news, man. This is big news.
De los narcobloqueos. Empezamos a ver el detalle de la escena y lo que contamos son 2 vehículos compactos blancos.
2 compacted vehicles.
Y ya elementos que estaban levantando lo que había quedado sobre el asfalto en esos carriles centrales, que es en donde había ocurrido el narcobloqueo. Y cuando vemos a detalle la escena, vemos un cuerpo tendido que a decir de las fuerzas federales fue un presunto criminal abatido y 2 detenidos sobre una patrulla que todavía no eran trasladados. Vemos todo el movimiento, cómo levantan el cuerpo, cómo se llevan a los 2 detenidos y cómo las fuerzas federales empiezan a circular esa misma carretera que nosotros estábamos circulando. Vuelvo a revisar los reportes de las cuentas oficiales y todo hasta ese momento indicaba que en el aeropuerto las actividades estaban funcionando de manera normal y por eso seguimos sobre esa que es la carretera.
He was talking about the airport. I wonder if I couldn't really hear if he resumed back normal operations. I'm wondering about that. Could this be the end for the cartel? I'm setting up some stuff right now so I can get like the latest news. Oh, this is from a long time ago. They were dropping. Somebody here in 2024 was dropping his coordinates. Hideouts for the CGNG leader Nemesiso and Mencho. Somebody in 2024 was dropping GPS coordinates, and it was viral. 2 million views in 2024. Damn, people were snitching back then. Oh, sorry. Let me get you the big screen. Look at that. Hideouts. I don't know if this is legit. Somebody dropped some GPS coordinates. 2 million views. This was the initial confusion an hour ago. What the? Okay. I need this to be a little bigger. Let me see how we can do this. Yes. I want the latest updates. Okay, here we go. Explore. Okay, I'm just setting up my tabs right now so we can be up to date with this stuff here as it comes in live, you know? Okay. We'll do this. Mexico looks like it's in a civil war. Authorities eliminated top Mexican cartel leader. Yeah, I really hope that they have something in place for the people over there that they're now threatening. They're saying they're going to go hotel to hotel. I still don't know what their demands are. Supposedly they have some kind of demands. There's smoke everywhere. This place is lit on fire. Let me see if that TikTok we had earlier is still live. Mm-hmm. This chick is stuck in Mexico right now. I'd be scared to death. Okay, Layla's sending some links. Let's check it out. I want to see some of the people out there.
A ver. Para ir a checar otro lugar a ver.
I think this is what they consider.
Viva aquí, baby.
Ahorita me
I live
vuelvo a
here.
conectar.
Oh shit!
Oh,
She
they
said she
said
lived
all
there.
over Mexico.
Yeah.
What's she doing over there? She was
All over
visiting.
Mexico.
Let me show you guys so you can see.
That smells fishy to me, though.
Well, all of that. This would be happening all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
It's a distraction.
Since the U.S. was sneaking troops over in California and Baja.
A distraction. It can't all be a distraction. The distraction people, because I noticed for some people everything is a distraction. A distraction from what? It can't all be a distraction. These are just actual events happening in life that we have to accept. It's a distraction. It's a distraction from what?
Precauciones. Nosotros
It's all over Mexico. It's all over Mexico. I thought it was just in Mexico. That's what they're saying. It's all over Mexico.
I saw a map.
Oh, you saw a
It's
map?
the hot spot, but like this area is hot. On the other side is like yellow, but it's all over.
Distraction from Nancy.
They're saying it's all over, y'all.
And the State Department has issued a thing to shelter in place.
Oh, the State Department. Okay.
Until they come knocking on your door, blowing your door open. It's a distraction. Ooh.
Right, how did all these people get in this live? We got 3K people in here.
Shut up.
Yes, it's 3K people in this live, y'all.
Okay, let's see what else we got.
Coming with the tea.
So this lady's live out there. She seems pretty relaxed.
Estado de Jalisco,
Which is
y
good, I
ante
guess.
la activación
Good.
del Código Rojo por parte del gobierno del estado, se hace una atenta recomendación para proceder al cierre inmediato y preventivo de bodegas y locales comerciales dentro de nuestro centro.
Okay, let me keep looking. Let me see what else we see. Mexico. And they okay, let me find out about the threat. Let's get into that first. Before I'm scattered all over the place. Let's get into this raw alerts posted. That's the most imminent thing, I think. Raw alerts. That they're threatening they have until 5 p.m. Let me see. Raw alerts. Let me post under his post. Any word on what the demands are. Raw alerts is posting. Let me look into this tweet and see if we can find out exactly what are the demands over there. What are they asking for?
Ew, don't put
Oh, shoot. Be careful scrolling. Be careful scrolling X. Because I literally opened a new tab. I'm glad I wasn't showing my screen. And it's 2 dead bodies. 2 dead bodies. If you're on Discord or somewhere else, I can share it there. I can't share it here because it's too graphic. But it says Mexican cartels have ambushed and killed Mexican National Guard convoy. That was an hour ago. Holy crap. I'll post it on Discord. Give me a second for X, though.
Y'all vacation got extended. We actually are residents. So we do reside here, just so y'all know. But yeah, I was supposed to leave today, though. I was supposed to leave today.
Oh, she was supposed to leave today, too? Wow.
Good for you.
But I gotta get some work done.
Most wanted in the world. What's going on? What happened? All right, so I'll explain it again. All right, so basically, one of the largest sea leaders, because I'm learning from the comments, my peeps are telling me. So, but one of the largest sea leaders was unalived, and his members, they are not happy about it, and they basically shut down Mexico. The whole town is in flames. We are in the state of Jalisco, Puerto Vallarta to be specific. And yeah, they've closed down the airports. They've shut down a couple businesses. They're in flames. They've crashed a few cars that's by us. So,
I mean, it's horrible what's going on there. I'm going to go ahead and turn it down a little bit so that way if I want to chime in, I can.
that's what's going on, y'all. Yeah, and it's not a game. This is not a game. And if you are in PV, if you are a tourist, if you are a local, whatever, stay your ass in the house. They didn't say stay in the house. Don't go out. Again, we are in an active. You can see how quiet it
And
is. There are
y'all,
no
thank you for the
cars.
likes. That is the
We're in an
most likes I've
active
gotten in a
shelter in
long
place. Okay,
time. I do appreciate it.
so
I appreciate all you being here.
we are in an active shelter in place. So just be safe, y'all. Yes, the sea guys, the sea boys. I can't say what I want to say because this is TT. So, but yes, the sea boys.
We went over what was going on today out in front of Nancy Guthrie's, which is basically nothing. We had a Karen out there, and during the search that individuals organized and didn't ask for permission for or get a thing saying they could do, there was a few searchers on the ground today. One found a backpack, but it's believed that it could be one of the cameramen because they had a lot of camera crews out there following them and stuff like that as they were searching. And then we have Mexico is under siege by Cartel. And that's what we're currently watching.
K-word or unalived one of the big sea leaders. Y'all gotta read between
If you don't
the lines.
mind,
Read
hit
the
that
comments.
love like button and sub up if you're already subbed up.
Read the comments, y'all. Yes, read the comments. The people are telling you. They're telling y'all what's going on. This is happening in the state of Jalisco. We are in Puerto Vallarta.
Jalisco, there you go. Jalisco, yeah.
It's also happening in Guadalajara, and I've also heard reports of it happening in Tulum. Question: is Tulum is not in Jalisco, so, but I don't know. Maybe they had business dealings over there. I don't know. Nayarit. So yes, all the surrounding areas in Puerto Vallarta. Yeah, that's near Cancun. That's on the Caribbean side. Yes, cars. So around us, like this morning,
Thank you for
we
the
were getting
memberships.
dressed and we
Appreciate
heard
that.
booms, and I thought it was a car crash.
Yeah, I
We
do
heard like
too.
5
Ikmal.
booms this morning. When I went
Well, by
outside,
the
I
way, this
did
is
see that
Ikmal.
they
Let me go
were.
ahead and I've already liked the video, but let me go ahead and copy his link so I can share it over here. So that way you guys can go sub up to Ikmal if you aren't already subbed up. Hello, thank you for joining. Go sub up to Ikmal. He's a great guy. He's a nice watch as well. I mean, he puts out up-to-date, valid information. He isn't a second guesser. He doesn't do what I do, which is sometimes screens. Well, I'm not even screen sniping. His life's already over. But during the search for Nancy and stuff, and he was hot and heavy on it like I was. He was sharing with me his as he was live currently, you know, because we were running 13-hour lives, 14-hour lives a day. But Ikamel's a cool cat.
I'm going to give you guys a little recap too for the new people joining. So just give it a few minutes. There's a lot more people have joined. If you guys can hit the like button too, just get it out into the algorithm. This is major breaking news happening today, happening now. There was a cartel leader that was killed, and apparently it was planned. It wasn't like by mistake or whatever. It was, you know, planned. Oh, 1 second.
No, she was not found. She still has not been found. We're going on day 22, going on to day 23. And then she is yet to be found. I'm waiting for more search warrants to happen, something like that, so that way we can get a show. Because I know for a lot of you guys, it gets boring just sitting here watching them videotape a house. I know it does to me. Just saying.
Let me see if I just want to post this. Oh, man. Okay.
This is Ikamel. Ikamel is a YouTuber. He runs his own channel. He has quite a bit of following. Like I said, he's a cool cat. He's going over what's going on in Mexico right now. Like I said, Mexico's under siege by the cartel.
Crazy. El Mencho. But these people are pissed. The gang members, the cartel members, they're pissed. They're not happy. Let me just post this real quick. So yeah, if you missed what's going on, the insanity that's going out there in Mexico, I posted about it on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook. But there's chaos that's erupted all over Mexico because this cartel leader, El Mencho, was killed. And they're not happy about that. Within hours, they were spreading violence across the region. Witnesses reported burning vehicles, roadblocks, explosions, killings. There was an airport, Guadalajara airport, that was shots being fired, people running. It was just insanity. And now the latest thing is they've issued a warning and a threat that apparently they have some kind of demands. Let's see. I'm trying to find out what's up with the demands too. What exactly? The threat is the CJNG members have issued major threats threatening to forcibly enter homes and hotels. You don't want to mess with the economy over there. They're going to mess with the money, the travel money. If people still go there. They're threatening to go into homes and hotels by 5 p.m. if their demands are not met. So it's kind of a shit show. And I just tweeted it out too. There is a convoy, a Mexican national convoy that was, it was the National Guard, and they were killed. And you see 3 bodies. I thought it was 2. It's actually 3 bodies on top of each other, just left on the side of the road, I guess, to leave a message. I can't show it here. It's way too graphic. There's also this guy that's covering out there. It's actually pretty interesting. Let me look into the demands.
Yes, I'm okay. We're in the state of Jalisco, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. This is also happening in Nayarit. This is also happening in Guadalajara, Puerto Vallarta, and some people say Tulum. All over Mexico, so they say. But yes, this is all Jalisco. That's right.
They had Cardi B. No, you tripping, Peter.
What's your question? You said someone answered me. What's your question, boo?
You guys are crazy, man.
See if I can catch it.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, y'all. I prefer my little photo being up there too. Kind of greedy that way. It is my screen, after
the
all.
C boys. Y'all tell her in the comments what C mean. The big C.
Oh, it looks like they have drone footage up.
I don't see it no more, but I was trying to look out for it, boo.
Okay, let me see if we have any other. This guy is kind of sharing some interesting stuff. I just have to be careful what clips I use. Try to be Mike. This was an hour ago. Watch out. Accounts created by the criminal groups themselves are trying to generate chaos and panic with fake reports. They're anonymous accounts that operate like propaganda. Well, bro, you can see the pictures. You can see the videos. It's not, I don't know. Airport shut down. military getting involved. Power may be cut soon. There's people out there vacationing.
Major flames there. Huge plumes everywhere. Another big one over there. Another one directly behind this resort we're staying at. Pretty much surrounded by this right now. Really intense scene happening here in Puerto Vallarta. Hopefully we're able to get out tomorrow, but the airports are shut down as it is right now. And as I understand it, military...
Nick Sorter says Senator Bernie Moreno is publicly calling on Mexico to request U.S. military support as cartels start wreaking havoc following one of their leaders being killed. Now is the time, Mexico. American forces can put an end to the cartel rule in days. They might need it if they're seriously going to go and start busting down doors and going into hotel rooms and start killing people. They really might need the help. They might have to set their pride aside, even though it seems like it was partly a joint operation to take out this leader.
Vivo aquí. Vivo aquí.
Total de un cártel. Los criminales en México y en el mundo no son un error del sistema, es una creación del sistema. Y como tal, cuando el sistema decide acabarlos, se les acabó cualquier otra.
That is the remnants from the big sea boys. They basically they're not happy because one of their leaders was unalived, okay? So they are letting it be known across the state of Jalisco that it is not good.
Look at that. They have like the whole map of the cartel too.
And I'm just talking in code because you can't say certain words on Vallarta, okay? I mean, not Vallarta. You can't say certain words on TikTok. So y'all gotta help me. When they ask what the scene mean, just tell them what it is. So yes.
I'm in TJ. There are reports here.
The Sea Boys.
There are reports here in state of Baja.
Yeah. Puerto Vallarta, baby. Puerto Vallarta. I'm from DC.
Well, this lady is vacationing out there. She got stuck.
Uh-huh. Yep.
About the threat, about the 5 p.m. demand.
Ain't no volcano, baby.
This is tied to the ongoing chaos. We know that. It says specific demands remain unconfirmed. I wonder if it's like, is it private? They have like a private demands or something and aren't explicitly stated in official statements or major media coverage. This appears to be part of the broader cartel retaliation tactics.
We're going to go ahead and jump ahead.
El Mancho. Oh, I found a live update article finally. Oof. So let's see. They're saying Mexico News live updates. Drug lord killed. U.S. issues security alert. Yeah, security alert issued. Okay.
I hear other parts are affected all the way across. I've reached out to my mom friend, which she's still here in Oklahoma, thank God, who lives down there part of the year. And I was like, please don't go back right now. Please just don't go back right now. If you and the kids are here, just stay here. That's my one plea to her, is just stay here.
Multiple videos of violence and vehicle fires came out of Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, on Sunday. Locals were advised to lock down amid federal operations and municipality of Tapalapa, Jalisco. That's crazy, man. All right. Well, it's 309 over there now. I'm gonna check some of these pages that have been.
If you're up
posting
on Rumble, hit that like
Let's
button and sub up, and you can also join over there. You can also give out memberships over there. I don't know if we're
Excuse me.
or not, if we have free memberships on that one yet or not.
So he was at first he was captured. He was alive when they first got him, and then he died on the way to the hospital, I guess. Okay.
Manuelich Castilla, uno de los hombres
I see people posting the gas station one. We saw it already. The death of CJ NG leader has sparked major narco blockades across 7 states in Mexico. A real-time map has been released where you can check all the roadblocks being reported across the country following the arrest of El Menchi. So they have a map update. I wonder how do we get access to that link? Let me see if I can find that. Let's take a look at the map. This is a video. I'm gonna try to find the link.
La página, incluso habíamos.
Damn. So they got all the roadblocks right there mapped out.
Para que la gente que quiera consultar este mapa, pues sepa cuáles son estos puntos en donde en estos momentos se está llevando a cabo, pues bloqueos, quema de vehículos,
Herald, Mexico.
de violencia en reacción a la detención y muerte de.
Pero esa mapa, esa página, ¿dónde está?
Ya ahorita que nos pongan aquí la página porque yo la dije hace.
They're talking about the page. This is where you can see all the I guess the incidents that are being mapped out and documented.
Ratito que nos lo pongan a ver allá en producción de la.
Okay. Oh, they're live too. What are they showing here? Oh. Ah.
Sí, alcanzo a escuchar ese último comentario, Alejandro. Sí, relevante por eso.
Well, let's see what they're showing while I get the latest. Might need a little more caffeine here. Gonna be wired tonight. Oh, they're showing the same thing. It's the same channel that I have on the side. Okay, that's cool. I can make some space. Perfect. You can put up the chat for a little bit too. Afraid to look in the chat. Just tagged you on an X post about the deadline. Thank you. I've seen a couple of posts on it. Are you sure it's 3 p.m. right now in Mexico? It's 3:11 in Central Missouri. The lady that was out there said it was. Let me double check. Maybe they have different time zones. It says 3:12. Well, Mexico City 3:12. Let's talk. Let's see. Hold on. Thank you. Here's the live map.
There's where it's all at. For that question. This is all that's getting attacked.
Literal, es un semáforo rojo en el centro del país y también al sur. Estaban hablando también que en Chiapas incluso ya se cerró la frontera. Tendríamos que. Estamos localizando también a nuestro corresponsal para que nos dé a conocer la información y todo lo que se esté.
Yeah, it's spreading all the way through Mexico, guys.
Chiapas. Habrá Tabasco, también es importante.
Okay, let's see what else we got. What else do we have going on here? Jalisco. They have a live thing here. Oh. Okay. TikTok? Let's see. Oh, somebody showing the smoke in the distance. Let's see. very shaky all over the place, but you don't see much. I'll show you guys. I mean, in this particular live, it's just there was the clip you show in there too. A hospital video of people like running out of the hospital. There's airport where shots are being fired all over the place. Multiple blockades, fires, explosions.
Under attack, people running for their lives.
But Scheinbaum says everything's fine. Remain peace and calm. Full.
There was the Guadalajara airport that was under attack. People literally running all over the place, screaming and crying. The Puerto Vallarta airport as well has had a big scare. A lot of people were evacuated on the tarmac. Had to run out on the runway to get away from the intense situation. And it seems like it's not about to slow down anytime soon. As I understand it, the cartel have announced that they are going to be entering private homes and potentially hotel resorts at 5 p.m. Our time if their demands are not met. So this thing could be just the beginning of what we're seeing here. I mean, the situation is so intense. I've been doing reports from my resort where there was just smoke surrounding all over the place, cars being lit on fire everywhere, and I've been posting those to my Twitter, Dan Dix PFT. A lot of people have been re-uploading the footage and just saying, look at this footage a tourist got. I'm not a tourist, guys. I'm a journalist. I'm here working, actually. I've been speaking at a conference for the last 5 days, in attendance at this conference, and I'm here now documenting on this situation live. And it was a little scary being over there right as I'm starting the video. I had military rolling up on me, and as I understand it, that could often be cartel members. And if it's not, these guys are the guys who are being targeted by the cartel members. So very, very intense situation popping off right here. As I said, go to my Twitter.
Yeah, for people that are asking about the demands, I haven't been able to find what the demands are. I have no idea. I've only seen some of the messages. I've seen some of the messages that are supposed.
Oh shoot, I can't do that. Never mind. Never mind. I forgot I was on restream.
Being leaked about the warnings, but I haven't seen like what exactly the demands are.
If you want to keep up to date with my my reports on this, Dan Dix PFT. Again, I don't really care if people re-up the footage and get it out, without credit to me. The most important thing is we get the word out about what's happening here, and that the situation is.
Okay, give me a second, guys. I want to go look for something. So what are you guys thinking about all of it? I mean, where are you guys standing on all the stuff going on in Mexico? Okay.
People are dying.
Do you think it's something that the United States should go get in the middle of or not?
It's rather intense. It's rather scary. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fly home tomorrow. I'm supposed to get on a plane, but as I am currently shut down. So that may still be the situation tomorrow. So stay tuned for my coverage. I might be stuck here for a little while. If you guys want to support me, go to pressfortruth.ca. Make sure you follow me on all the major platforms that I'm posting on. And if you want to financially support my efforts to cover this, you can go to Press for Truth.
Well, we're in the endless loop. All right, so Mexico's under fire with their own citizens. We've got other news to follow too. Give me one moment. Let me get it brought up here. You're a dumbass, Taylor. So this is other news that not very many people know about, and I want to cover because, well, it's not too far from where I live. Make it a little bit more smaller, please. Thank you. What? Yes, I know. I'm highly aware. And I know about that too. And I have friends over there in Australia. I have several friends over there in Australia. My friend Far, who used to come in all the time, but she's been having internet problems, lives in Australia. I love that woman to death. She keeps wanting to send me stuff from Australia. Remains discovered in Love County may bring answers to 13-year-old disappearance cold case. Human remains found in Love County may solve a 13-year-old disappearance of Molly and Colt Haynes. New search uncovers a breakthrough in a long-standing Oklahoma missing persons case. Let's hit play. I would prefer it to actually fit the screen. Give me a second, guys. I don't know what's going on. Give me a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Taylor's about to put her foot in it. Okay, anyway. Start working before I start screaming. I'm trying to get into it so that way everyone can see it. Please and thank you. Then I gotta go in and unmute it. Give me a second.
In the disappearance of an Oklahoma teen and her friend. The two went missing 13 years ago. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carl Torp.
I'm Bobby Miller. A multi-agency search has uncovered the remains of two people in Love County. News 9's Jennifer Pierce is following the break in this case. Jen?
Bobby, Carl, the officials with the Chickasaw Lighthorse Police Department and the Bureau of Indian Affairs says the location in Love County where the remains were found this week has never been searched since Molly Miller and Colt Haynes went missing.
The operation in Love County involving 8 agencies started earlier this week. Tribal authorities initiated the search for 17-year-old Molly Miller, a Chickasaw citizen, and 21-year-old Colt Haynes. The two disappeared in 2013 after a police pursuit in Wilson, Oklahoma. Miller and Haynes were passengers in a car driven by their friend James Knipp. He was eventually convicted for the pursuit, but claimed he didn't know what happened to Miller and Haynes. Their families took part in a press conference 10 years ago when the OSBI announced a $10 reward for information in the case, on top of the Miller family's $35,000 reward.
We're going to stay strong until the end. I hope the end comes before my life comes to an end.
Years later, Miller's grandfather and others close to the case may soon have answers. The Chickasaw Light Horse Police say the remains found were collected by the FBI Evidence Response Team and the state medical examiner for forensic examination and identification. Tribal authorities say the families of both missing people have been notified and will remain updated. Chickasaw Light Horse Police did not say one specific tip led them to the new location, only saying, quote, as new details emerged in the investigation and landowner assistance was obtained, search parameters were expanded, leading to the current operation in the newly identified area.
Quite closing, guys. I hope this brings an end to it. I really do. But I fear it won't. And do I have to totally reset? Okay, things are set up differently. I don't know what I did. And I don't know if I like it or not, but I might. I might like this up a lot better. I don't know what I pushed, but hey, it did something. What does this button do? Camera, media, countdown. Okay. So that was. All right, guys. I think 2 hours was long enough. We've been here for 2 hours and 4 minutes. Thank you for coming in and joining me. I hope most of you hit that love like button and are following me now. I want you all to have a great night. I hope I do too. I hope I hear from my baby girl tonight. I will talk to you guys probably tomorrow. We'll see what the updates are tomorrow and if anything's worth reporting on the Nancy Guthrie case. If not, I'm not going to. I mean, I'll put in there she's still missing. I'll put in there a little bit. But at this point, I think I have Nancy fatigue. It's been a month with no answers. You know, Sebastian Rogers, Summer Wells, Logan Tucker. Still no answers for those cases. And the first person who says that the parents of Summer are guilty will be asked to lead the chat nicely. But there's a lot going on out here in this world. And just keep reminding yourselves to be nice to others. Like I said, love you all. We're going to end it with a song. I'm going to mute. Well, I don't know if I can over here. But we're going to end it with a song. I'll do this one first. I might play a couple of my songs.
Bold voice, southern sass, and a whole lot of grit that captures that fiery spirit, mixing chaos, charm, and unapologetic truth. Taylor's train wreck. She rolls loud like a midnight rill, lip gloss blazing, heart full of hell. Southern grace with a side of bite, she'll bless your soul and start a fight. Tracks hang straight in Taylor's town, she'll derail peace just to wear the crown. Fishing bold with the rebels flair. Truth bombs dropping like she just don't care. One hand on sweet tea, one on the mic. She'll roast your lies and still sound polite. Drama's fuel and shades her steam. She's the conductor of your broken dream. But don't mistake the wreck for mess. She's poetry in a torn up dress. A hurricane wrapped in velvet lace. Fire in her eyes and steel in her grace. Don't mistake the wreck for mess. She's poetry in a torn up dress. A hurricane wrapped in velvet lace. With fire in her eyes and steel in her grace. She rolls in loud like a midnight rail. Lip gloss blazing, heart full of hell. Southern grace with a side of bite. She'll bless your soul and start a fight. Tracks ain't straight in Taylor's town. She'll derail peace just to wear the crown. Bitch and bowl with the rebel's flair. Truth bombs dropping like she just don't care. One hand on sweet tea, one on the mic. She'll roast your lies and still sound polite. Drama's fuel and shades her steam. She's the conductor of your broken dream. But don't mistake the wreck for mess. She's poetry in a torn up dress. A hurricane wrapped in velvet lace. With fire in her eyes and steel in her grace.
1, 2, Taylor's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock that door. 5, 6, grab a crucifix. 7, 8, it's already too late. She's a shadow on the run, dancing dark beneath the sun. 9, 10, she's back again, whispers louder than the wind. She's the echo in the night, turning wrong into the right. Footsteps chasing down the lane. Feel her breath, it's all in vain. Ooh. Faster beats, your heart's in sync. Close your eyes, don't dare to blink. Every pulse a ticking clock. Try to run, but doors won't lock. She's a shadow on the run, dancing dark beneath the sun. 9, 10, she's back again. Whispers louder than the wind. Taylor's laugh, a twisted song, keeps you guessing all night long. Oh. 1, 2, you're out of time. She's the reason fear can rhyme. Oh. Laugh, a twisted song, keeps you guessing all night long. 1, 2, you're out of time. She's the reason fear can rhyme.
And this will be the last one.
In the hills where the wildflowers grow, a little girl's laughter still echoes low. Summer's light, though the night feels long. Her spirit lives on in every song. Shine for summer, let a story be told through the voices of the young and the old. Candace holds on through the pain and the tears, searching for hope across the years. Every star in the Tennessee sky carries a prayer, a mother's cry. Though the mystery lingers, the love won't fade. Her memory's a lantern that will never shade. We sing for justice, we sing for peace, for answers that bring us sweet release. Summer's name will never fall away. Her song is alive in hearts today. Shine for summer, let her spirit rise, a beacon of love that never dies. Candace, keep faith, though the road is long. Summer's forever in this song. Shine for summer, let a story be told through the voices of the young and the old. Candace holds on through the pain and the tears, searching for hope across the years. She kept your baby blanket folded in a drawer, whispered to the silence like you'd walk back through the door. Every birthday candle, every prayer she tried to send, she held on to a promise that the story didn't end. They said time would heal it, but time just made it clear. A mother's love don't weaken, it just waits year after year. 18 years of dreaming, 18 years of tears, 18 years of talking to a ghost that felt so near. But today the world stopped turning when she saw your face again. Two hearts that were divided finally beating as one again. You grew up with questions no one ever could explain. She grew up with memories that cut deeper than the pain. And standing there beside her, shy but full of life, your little brother watched you like a hero